Today I'm going to be doing a very short video on chaturanga and Surya Namaskar. Chaturanga links most sequences in yoga, and I do find it's probably one of the hardest moves for beginner yogis to get right. I often see a funny waving motion, and it can really cause some strain on the spine, on the back, if you're not doing it correctly. And you do many chaturangas in a yoga class. It is part of the flow. So that's what I'm going to be concentrating on today. So let's move on to all fours. And just doing a few cat and cows just to warm up, not spending a lot of time on the warm up. Just moving into the spine a little bit, maybe rounding it from side to side, doing a few circles, and then coming back the other way. And tucking into the toes, and then moving all the way back to your downward facing dog. Moving into one leg and then the other. Just moving into the neck a little bit. And finding some stillness in the down dog. Down dog, feet are hip distance apart, hands are shoulder width apart. You're pushing the chest towards the thighs. If you feel like your spine is rounding, then rather take a slight bend in the knees to push the chest closer towards the thighs. And slowly extending into the legs. As you advance in your practice, from here, you're going to make your way forward into a plank. So find this plank position. This would be the start of your chaturanga. Your crown of your head is drawing towards the front of the room. Heels are drawing back. Hips are in line with the shoulders and the ankles. So you want one long straight line. You don't want your sit bones sitting up here, and you don't want your hips dropping down. You want one long straight line. Shoulders are rounded. You want to push into the hands. You want to keep that chest far away from the mat. So the start of the chaturanga, you want to move the shoulders all the way over the hands. So see the feet? My feet are pushing my shoulders over the hands. Then all I'm doing is bending the arms 90 degrees, but keeping the same shape of my body. Untucking the toes, up dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. So obviously it takes quite a bit of strength to start getting that chaturanga right. To build up the strength, what you need to do is to maybe take the knees down to the floor. But I'm not going to drop my chest, and I'm not going to lift up my sit bones. I'm going to keep my body straight. I'm moving the shoulders over the hands, bending the arms to 90 degrees. I'm not taking my chest down. And then inhale, up dog. So that would be your alternative to keeping the knees up off the floor. So I'm going to go through that once again, and you can see the difference, and maybe start working on taking the knees down first, and then moving to lift up the knees. So from down dog, I'm moving all the way forward to a plank. Then I'm moving the shoulders over the hands, bending the arms to 90. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Alternatively, I'm moving forward to a plank. I'm going to lower my knees down to the floor. My hips stay even. My shoulders are still straight. And then I take the shoulders over the hands, bend the arms to 90. I'm not taking the chest down. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. So in a yoga class, you may hear the teacher saying, lower knees, chest and chin. That is not chaturanga. That is a completely different move. I'm going to show it to you now. But don't use knees, chest, chin as an alternative to chaturanga. So in a yoga class, you'll often come forward to plank, exhale, lower knees, then your chest and your chin. This time my sit bones stay up and my chest and my chin do come down to the floor. Then I move forward into a baby cobra. I tuck the toes, seat to heels, push back, downward facing dog. That is not an alternative for chaturanga. It is a completely different move. The alternative to chaturanga is just gently dropping the knees down, keeping the spine straight, and then bending the arms to 90 and moving into upward facing dog. Right, so to help with getting this chaturanga right, take a strap, if you've got one, loop it, and then bring it above your elbows, shoulder width apart. So you want to kind of keep it shoulder width apart. We're going to start on all fours as if I'm taking my knees down to the floor. I'm coming into that plank position with my spine straight. I move my hands, my shoulders all the way over my hands, get the strap underneath my chest, and I can kind of just balance there. Good. Or I can try it with the legs lifted, moving the shoulders over and balancing on the strap. This is the position of your chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Or if you have blocks available, take the blocks. Another way to get the position of chaturanga. You don't want to be sinking into your chaturanga. You don't want to be dropping the chest down, dropping the hips down. It's a very controlled movement. You want to make it strong. You want to make it flow. Another way to get the position of chaturanga is taking your hands behind the blocks, lifting the knees, shoulders come forward, and then drop the shoulders to the blocks. There you go, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Alternatively again, you can take the knees down, move the chest forward, and drop the shoulders to the blocks. And then inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So that is chaturanga. That is the link between most sequences in yoga. The more you do, the stronger you'll become, and it's a great way to build up strength in your yoga practice. So now I'm going to take you through a sun salutation. I often will have a practice where I only do sun salutations. It is a great way to build up strength, a great way to build up cardio, and it incorporates all the poses within yoga, except a twist. So you'll have your standing pose, you'll have your forward fold, you'll have your back bend, and you'll have your inversion with the down dog. So it is a great practice to do every day, even if you're just doing the sun salutation. So coming to the top of the mat, standing in Tadasana, so your toes and heels are touching, or they may be just hip distance apart. It's completely up to you. I like to have my toes touching, my heels are a little bit open. Kind of the edge part of my foot is in line with the edge of the mat. Standing strongly into the feet, lift the soles of the feet away from the floor. Mountain pose, you have to be grounded. You have to feel like a mountain. Dropping the hands down either side of the hips, tucking into the tailbone, dropping the shoulders away. You are strong in Tadasana. On an inhale, you'll take your palms forward and up, looking up towards the fingers. Exhale, folding over the legs, hands come in line with the feet. Inhale, lengthen out the spine, coming into your halfway lift. Or you can take your hands to your shins if you can't quite get your fingers onto the floor, but you want that spine to be straight. And then exhale, plant your hands, step back to your plank, then move through your chaturanga. So you want to push the shoulders over the hands, bend the arms to 90. Inhale, untuck the toes, coming into upward facing dog. Your thighs off the floor, your shoulders are drawing towards each other, rolling over the toes to downward facing dog. And holding it here for a few breaths. Inhale. Exhale, 1. And 2. And 3, step in between the hands, coming into your halfway lift, and then exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, bring the palms forward and up, look up. Exhale, come to stand in Tadasana. Now, of course, you can change that Surya Namaskar. You can make it a little bit more challenging. You can jump back to chaturanga. You can jump into a handstand if you want to. Completely up to you. I'm going to show you with a hop back. When you hop back, you don't hop back into plank. You hop straight back into chaturanga, so your arms will be bent. You don't want to be hopping back into plank. It's not great on your joints. Standing in Tadasana on an inhale, palms forward and up, look up. Exhale, folding over the legs, hands in line with the feet. Inhale, straightening out that spine. Exhale, plant the hands. We're going to hop back to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, thighs off the floor, strong back. And then moving all the way to downward facing dog. And you're taking a few breaths here. Inhale. And exhale. For 2. And 3, you can look between the hands. You can bend into the knees. You can step up between the hands. You can hop between the hands. Or maybe taking it into a little bit of a slower kind of floating handstand and then dropping the feet down. You can play around here. And then exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, bringing the palms forward and up, look up. Exhale, come to stand in Tadasana. Okay, so I'm going to show you another variation of Surya Namaskar. This is the Jivamukti variation. It is a great way to see the different types of flows through a sequence. So let's get started with that one. On an inhale, hook the thumbs. Bring the palms forward and back, arch the back. Exhale, reverse the flow. So you take the hands behind the back, interlace your fingers. Bring the chest quite close to the thighs. And then exhale, start to straighten out the legs. Drop the fist down behind the head, folding over the legs. Inhale, hands down to the floor. Step your right foot back into a low lunge, strong low lunge. So you want your chest to be lifting, back leg is strong, and then move all the way back, downward facing dog. Inhale, move forward to a plank. Exhale, chaturanga, shoulders come over. Bend the arms to 90. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, moving forward to a plank. This time, exhale, lower your knees. Now your chest and your chin, so your sit bones stay high. Elbows come into the rib cage. And then moving forward and up into a baby cobra. Lifting the chest up, your hands are very lightly touching the floor. Push back through child's pose to downward facing dog. Then inhale, step your right foot between the hands, low lunge. Left foot comes to meet the right at the front of the mat, folding over. Inhale, bend the knees, hook the thumbs, bring the palms forward and back, arch the back. Exhale, reverse the flow. Take the hands behind the back, fold forward. Inhale, hands down to the floor, stepping the left foot back, low lunge, and moving all the way back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, moving forward to plank. This is where your chaturanga comes in. Of course, if you need to take your knees down, take the knees down. Otherwise, moving the shoulders over the hands, bending the arms to 90. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, moving forward to a plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin. Moving forward and up, baby cobra. Tuck the toes. Seat to heels, push all the way back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot between the hands, low lunge. And step the right foot to meet the left, folding over the legs. Inhale, bend the knees, hook the thumbs. Bring the palms forward and back, arch the back. And then exhale, come to stand in Tadasana. So those are the 2 Surya variations that I'll show you today. I hope that gave you enough to be able to work on the chaturanga. It should help you moving forward with all the other lessons, with any yoga practice that you go to. Chaturanga is kind of the glue that brings it all together. Namaste. Thank you for joining me.